Okay. It appears we are live on YouTube and in the Facebook group as well. Okay, guys, so this is the last live stream from the 14-day keto kickstart group. It's a Facebook group that I started for free where I basically walked everybody through the process to get fat adapted. Okay, so that means I hooked them up with everything they needed to know in terms of, setting up their electrolytes, their fiber, their water, their diet, answering all the questions they have in a community. And I also answered all the questions on 3 lives a week. Okay, so this is the last of the lives. If you're interested in jumping in the next keto kickstart, just go ahead and best thing, follow me on Instagram, okay, at Raw Strength and Muscle, because that's where I'm going to be announcing the next one, as well as in the community tab here on YouTube. Okay, so I asked for questions. I got one question from YouTube. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and answer that one. Okay, so the question was from Augusto. If I can start a keto diet at the moment, what is the best carb alternative to gain muscle and lose weight? Okay, so first of all, I'm assuming that the question was if I can't start a keto diet right away. Okay. Um, what's the best carb to add? Okay. And this is actually an interesting question. I got a whole bunch of things I could say. Okay. So, first of all, why can't you start a keto diet at the moment? Okay. Um, like, if the question is, if I can't start a keto diet, like, so are you asking me, like, basically how to lose weight and build muscle while eating carbs, or is there some reason why you cannot? Because you can always jump on a keto diet. There's no reason why you cannot jump on a keto diet. Okay. I've said it before, it's like the easiest diet in the world. Okay, you could get some cheap ground beef, some cheap fiber supplements, and some cheap eggs for very little money. Okay, it's cheaper to get a day's worth of food to be on a ketogenic diet um, than it is to eat out once a day. I mean, there are people that spend more money in Starbucks, okay, if they get like a drink and like a cookie, they spend more money than you need to go ahead and stay on a ketogenic diet for a day. Okay, and don't even pretend to compare going once a day to takeout from some fast food restaurant, or God forbid you order a pizza. Um, don't God forbid, do not compare that, okay, to how much it costs to eat a day worth of on keto. Okay, it's extremely inexpensive. I remember, like I said, one of my favorite keto stories is of a guy who was like, starting off as a car salesman. Okay, salesman, in car dealerships, you could easily make 6 figures. It's like a standard salary. When you consider your commission. And he's like, well, right now I'm just starting off my new job and I can't, afford organic grass fed eggs and, beef and free range butter and whatever the hell else his excuse was, so I'm not going to go ahead and jump on a ketogenic diet until then. So basically, he spent like 5 times the amount of money that he, would have spent on getting cheap meat, cheap eggs, and cheap butter on, like, having like beer and chicken wings at lunch with the guys from the dealership, and having like, pizza and whatever the hell crap he was eating. So it's like, you're not saving money. Okay. And don't go ahead and tell me that you think that it's better to be overweight, it's healthier to be overweight and to be eating, like I said, rubbish, basically, in terms of, like I said, all the stuff that, is making him fat. Don't tell me that he thinks that's better than eating like not organic, not free range, grass fed everything. Okay. And like I said, honestly, most people could eat free range, grass fed, bison or beef or eggs or, butter and whatever with the money that they spend having lunch out and having breakfast in Starbucks and having breakfast in, McDonald's and having pizza for dinner. And like you could afford it and you could do it. The people who travel, okay, like I said, I mean, even if I wasn't a low carb guy, when people say they're like truck drivers, you're like, how do I eat and how do I lose weight as a truck driver? All you do is you have 2 meals a day. You stop anywhere in America on the side of a road, you're going to find a 24-hour diner and you have meat and eggs. It could be a whole bunch of eggs and a whole bunch of bacon. It could be like a hamburger patty and a whole bunch of eggs or whatever. You just have 2 meals of however much you want to eat. Just make sure it's only meat and eggs and drink water and don't eat anything in between those 2 meals. So like I said, I mean, you could always, it's easy to afford to be on a ketogenic diet, and it's easy to be on a ketogenic diet if you have to eat out. Go to a 25-star restaurant, the most expensive restaurant in the world. I guarantee you could get a salad with some oil on it. I guarantee you could, get water, salt, black coffee, coffee with cream, and I guarantee you can get steaks, you know? So, like I said, there's no reason why you cannot go on a ketogenic diet. Now, that's not an attack on the young man by any means, okay? It's just, like I said, it's just me asking why somebody would say, like, if I can't start a ketogenic diet, okay? Because you always can. Now, at the same time, I am never going to tell somebody that they have to go on low carbs. Like, if you eat carbohydrates, your head's going to explode and you're going to die of obesity. I've never said that, okay? The only time that I ever said that somebody like has to go on a low carb diet is if this person is a carbohydrate addict like I am, okay? I cannot eat a little bit of rice, okay? If it tastes anywhere near not rubbish, I cannot eat a little bit of it. I will consume it until I vomit, and then I will have made room for more, okay? And it will just go downhill from there. I cannot have one piece of cake. I cannot have one piece of bread. Like, if I go to a restaurant, and I'm alone, or I'm with somebody else who's low carb, don't even put the bread on the table. I'll have the butter. I'll like actually eat the butter with like a spoon or a butter knife, but like don't put the bread on the table. Don't put the croutons in the salad. I don't even want to see it. Keep the potato away from me. I do not even want to see it. I'll just go ahead and have salad and meat and eggs and whatever. If I'm eating with somebody else, I'm like, okay, you keep all of my stuff, all of your stuff, all the carbs on your side of the table, okay? So, like I said, that's the only time when I say somebody has to go on a low carb diet if they cannot eat carbs in moderation. And there are a lot of people that are like that. It's just like I'm in a business coaching group for fitness coaches, and a lot of them are posting. They're like, they say stuff like, "Hey, I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to go ahead and, help you get in shape and still eat your favorite foods and still drink." And then they're complaining in our little, group, in our little Facebook group, like, yeah, and like, this guy, he keeps going out and drinking his ass off. And well, you told him he could drink, okay? If somebody drinks too much and they drink 1,000,000 calories, and after they drink 1,000,000 calories in alcohol, then they start going ahead and eating a bunch of crap, they cannot drink and be on a diet and lose weight. It don't work like that. It don't happen, okay? So can you have a beer? Yes, you can have a beer and lose weight. Can you eat carbs on a diet? Yes, you can eat carbs and lose weight. But if you're an alcoholic, you cannot consume a huge amount of alcohol every day and then make poor culinary decisions and lose weight. And if you're a carbohydrate addict, you cannot. But other than that, yes, you certainly can lose weight while eating carbohydrates. So let's go ahead and let's continue to break this question down. Because like I said, this is actually a pretty good question. Okay, so if you can't start a keto diet at the moment, discuss that from all angles. What's the best carb alternative to gain muscle and lose weight? If somebody were to want to, eat carbohydrates, I would recommend two things. One thing I would recommend is that they eat a lot of protein. Okay, I'm talking like 1.5 grams per pound of goal body weight. Okay, the same thing that I usually recommend for my guys trying to build muscle on a low carb diet. Okay, But I'd suggest that you bump up the protein. I'd suggest that you get a decent amount of fat in because there are essential fatty acids. To rebuild parts of your body that are continuously being broken down and rebuilt, you need actually fat. You need saturated fat. You need cholesterol for hormonal function, especially and including testosterone. You need saturated fat cholesterol because that is like the precursor. That's the stuff that you make testosterone and other hormones out of. So you definitely need fat. I would certainly make sure you have plenty of fat. And I would suggest that you only take in carbohydrates right around your workouts. Okay. If you don't work out, I'd suggest that you take most of your carbohydrates right in the morning. Okay. Now, the reason for that is fat and carbohydrates are fuel sources. Okay. There are essential fats, like I said, for rebuilding your body, but you also they're basically beyond that, they are also fuel sources. So basically, what you have is you have people consuming carbohydrates as though they're like marathon runners, okay, or soldiers going through some incredible training or selection course, consuming huge amounts of carbohydrates, but they are sedentary. Okay, they are legitimately sedentary. They do not move, but they're consuming huge amounts of energy food, even though they aren't burning that much energy. Okay, so you certainly like I said, I would certainly recommend that you just consume the carbohydrates you need right around your workout. It gives you a little bit of energy before your workout, and it gives you maybe refills your glycogen after your workout. But aside from that, you really, even if you weren't eating carbohydrates, I would only recommend that. And the best carb alternative to gain muscle and lose weight, like I said, what I would recommend certainly is dextrose powder. That's what I use when I'm doing extremely intense workouts. And like I've said in other lives before, that's if I'm doing like 10 burpees as hard and as fast as I can, 30-second break, 10 burpees, 30-second break, plyometrics along the same, format, jump rope intervals where I jump as fast as I can, take a short break, jump as fast as I can, sprint repeated sprints where I like sprint 100 meters, walk back, sprint 100 meters, walk back. That kind of output is best fueled by carbohydrates. And like I said, what I would basically have the person do, or what I use myself in those situations, is dextrose powder. You drink it. It doesn't have to be chewed, mechanically digested. It just goes right, into your bloodstream. Dextrose is pretty much pure glucose. So unlike fructose, fruit sugar, sucrose, table sugar, dextrose, or glucose, tends to go into your muscles to fill your muscle glycogen, as opposed to the other types of sugar that tend to go into your liver and fill your liver first. Okay, so that's what I would recommend if somebody were actually to for some reason to quote have to take in carbs. Okay. Good. Okay, I think we got a question somewhere, and on YouTube. Okay, for some reason the question isn't popping up, but I did actually see it. And what the question was is about my anaerobics program. Yes. Okay. Uh, you did hit me up, and I did drop the ball. Okay. Go ahead. I don't know if you hit me up on Instagram or if you emailed me, do it again, and I guarantee you I will get back to you tomorrow at the latest. Okay. I appreciate it, and I did drop the ball on that. Okay. For my anaerobics program, which actually, interestingly enough, just happens to be the workouts and the diet that I use that included jump rope intervals, plyometric intervals, burpee intervals, and my low carb diet that had dextrose powder pre and post workout. Okay, so like I said, that's it's interesting that we that question actually came up because that's the exact workout that I use, and that's the exact diet that I use then. Cool. Yeah, big deck. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong page here. Yes. Good, good, good. So do we have any more questions? That's because I only got the one question in advance. So if any more questions about anything calisthenics, weighted calisthenics, ketogenic, or whatever related. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. So, anyway, like I said, that was the question that I got about using carbs. That was the question that I got about the anaerobics program. And also, so like I was going to say, also, if anybody is interested in actually jumping onto the 14-day keto kickstart, what I basically did was created a free Facebook group. And it's 2 weeks long. We do 3 lives a week. You can ask me questions in the group, and I give you all the information that you need to get your body fat adapted, which means you don't get the keto flu because your water and your electrolyte intake is taken care of. No digestive issues because I take care of your water and your fiber. I tell you how to get into ketosis, which is the easiest, okay, of the parts of getting fat adapted. And true fat adaptation for me means that you are no longer craving carbohydrates and that you are enjoying your life and functioning well on fat and protein. So I actually do address any mental or emotional issues you have with a sugar or a carb addiction. So like I said, it's a pretty good deal because it's free. Okay. And like I said, I give you everything you need to do to get fat adapted in, let's say, 5 to 10 days, depending upon what your lifestyle was like before you got on a ketogenic diet, determines how long it's going to take. Somebody who ate healthy, paleo-ish, somebody who's been low carb before can much more easily get fat adapted. Somebody who was like me, a straight up carb addict and had donuts from morning until night with soda and coffee with plenty of sugar in it, you are going to have more problems. But like I said, 5 to 10 days, I will get you through everything. It will get you fat adapted so you can continue after the keto kickstart on a ketogenic diet. No problems at all. Okay. Aside from that, like I said, I suggest everybody off in YouTube go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Raw Strength and Muscle. Okay, that's the best way to get into contact with me. That's also the best way to keep up with, like I said, when I do another keto kickstart or whatever. I had a couple questions about training. Go to rawstrengthandmuscle.com or once again, go to my Instagram. And like I said, just go ahead and send me a direct message. Aside from that, as long as we do not have any more questions, like I said, Big Dex, sorry, hit me up again. Like I said, whether it was email or on Instagram, and I guarantee you I will get back to you tomorrow at the latest. Okay, no more questions. All right, guys, thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for everybody that was in the 14-day keto kickstart. And like I said, if you have not subscribed to me on YouTube, please do. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, please do that as well. Putting out a lot more information now. And I've got a big personal thing going on starting Monday. Long story short, I am going back to bodyweight calisthenics, okay? Going back to the basics. I'm going to go ahead and start talking about that on YouTube, but also especially on Instagram next week. So like I said, just go ahead and, follow me because we got a bunch of cool stuff coming. Okay. Thank you guys, and I will see you in the next live.